Happy birthday, Aquarius, and welcome to Modern Day Meta. I'm so glad you could join me today for the Aquarius new moon and your annual 2020 birthday reading. I'm going to start by telling you just a little bit about Modern Day Meta, beginning with what I'm not, because there are a lot of readers out here on YouTube doing really wonderful work. Many of them I watch myself, and I'm learning and growing by watching them. So I am not Amethyst Angel Light. I love her. I watch her regularly, and I've even had a personal consultation with her. She's probably one of the only YouTube readers that I've had a personal consultation with so far. I'm not Deborah Claire Channel. Love her. I learned so much from watching the different people I'm going to mention in my intros. If you watched my videos last time, you'll know that I mentioned 3 different channels. Those I love too, and I watch too, and I learn from too. And the levers is popping out. So what I am, one more I'll mention, who I love, who I'm not, but who I love and watch regularly, is Mr. Ramblin' Mike, who's an absolute joy to learn from and watch his readings. He does a fun thing on Sundays where he's live, and he reads all the signs for the upcoming week. So yeah, like I said, there are a lot of wonderful readers out here who will read for you monthly, weeklies. I don't. It's too energetically taxing for me. I'm protecting my energy. I have limited amounts of it, and so I'm very selective. And I kind of feel like if you want a personal reading, you should contact the reader and get that personal reading. Instead of, hoping every month that some various reader out there may hit on your story. That's what a lot of people do, and it works. But if you need something personal, you need to have a personal consultation so that the reader can tap into your personal energies, and we can read about the specifics in your life, not just the general. So, what I am is an astrologer of 20 years, a life coach, a tarot diviner, obviously, witch, creatrix. Those are just a few of the labels that I feel in alignment with at this time. And as far as what you can look forward to here on the channel every month is a birthday reading, like the one I'm about to do for Aquarius, that will cover your year for 2020. I also do 2 bi-monthly image post readings. They're sort of, I call them health and well-being readings, because it's basically what the universe is recommending for you personally, according to the energies we might be going through. So you could look for those. Those come out every 2 weeks, and they're by the elements. I also do a regular moon phase post, because that's what I do. I chase the moon. That's what witches do. They chase the moon. And, I've been doing astrology for 20 years, and astrology is just a really fascinating science that mixes mysticism and spirituality and occultism and all those things, all those esoteric things into it. But it's really, when you look at the stars, for the bigger picture. And if you want to understand what's happening for you on a day-to-day, you've got to chase the moon. You've got to understand what sign she's in. She changes signs every 3 days. And so the energies change. And especially if you understand what phase that she's in, you can align certain things in your life with those energies for better results. And that's basically what I'm doing, is I chase the moon, and I chart her phases, and I set intentions, which is what the new moon in Aquarius today is about. So with that said, let's get down to it. Let's get into your reading a little bit. As I mentioned, it is an Aquarius new moon, and let's talk just a tiny bit about Aquarius. First of all, I do want to mention that I'm featuring the Stars Divine deck, which is produced by the Oracle. You can, find a link in the bottom of this description video. I'll include a link of all the decks that I'm using today. And I love this deck. I'll show you a couple other cards while we talk a little bit about the energy of Aquarius, which is fixed. It's a fixed sign. So that means that, you fall in the bucket of being stubborn, or if you flip it around, you are very committed. And, when you set your sights on something, it's there. It's kind of stuck. And that's what fixed energy is about. It's not fluid and, not active like cardinal, not fluid like mutable. It's fixed. It's about permanence and establishing something that has more permanence. So that is one of the binding energies of Aquarius. It also falls in the element of air. And air is all about communication. And the other thing that I'll mention here about Aquarius is Aquarius is the most ascended of the air signs, right? When we take the zodiac chart and we break it down through the elements, we've got 4 of them. And in each of those 4 elements, you'll find 3 signs. So for the element of air, the first sign, the baby of that air element is Gemini. And then we move around to the, young adult, if you will, to Libra. And then when we come up over to Aquarius, up at the top, the third in the air, it's the most ascended. It is the most evolved out of the air signs. And so to me, this is why it's not surprising to find the element of genius within the sign of Aquarius, because it is the most ascended. So a couple of other just key word phrases so that you can get into the energy of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about inventive solutions. It's very innovative, and it's also about seeing into the future or things dealing with the future. So for today's reading, I chose some background music that is more sort of scientific and futuristic. And yesterday at the nail salon, I asked Katie, who I love, to paint my nails in the color scheme of basically Aquarius and Uranus, its ruler, which is blues, electric blues and sparkly blues. And so I'm sort of celebrating Aquarius with my fingernails, among other things, also by setting my intentions, which I'll review with you in a moment. So other things that Aquarius sort of rules over, or it has mastery over, is humanitarian attitudes. And, this to me is all about that 60s song, The Age of Aquarius and The Age of Brotherly Love. And that time is actually, it is upon us. And so this new moon, it's beautiful because it is the first full moon of 2020. And in many ways, when we study astrology and cycles, because it's the first month of our calendar year 2020, it will set the tone, if you will, for the rest of 2020. So this new moon really has a very strong Aquarian signature on it, not just because the moon is in Aquarius, but also because the planet Uranus is squaring that moon. So it's the only planet with contact to the moon at this new moon. So the theme here is Aquarian all the way. It's Aquarian and Uranian because Uranus rules the sign of Aquarius. And so the other thing, other areas of your life that Aquarius energy and or Uranian energy is about is revelations. The energy of Uranus is very sudden, and it can be disruptive because of that suddenness. It rules things like, think of lightning bolts, think of, lightning striking. And that is very Uranian. And so many of the sort of downloads that we'll be getting, I believe, are going to be affecting the neurological systems of our human bodies, of our human avatars, because that's another physical area of the body that's ruled by Aquarius and Uranus. And for those of you that are Aquarius, you should be careful about your ankles and calves as well. That's the most sensitive area, the body part ruled by Aquarius, and therefore you need to protect it. And it will always be an area on your body, if you're Aquarius, that is more susceptible to injury and things like this. So you want to take extra care with your ankles and calves. Things like cramps, muscle cramps, and things like that. That all falls in the Aquarius energy. The other thing Aquarius rules is humor, which I love. And it is also the sign of friends and friendship, because it's a very social sign. So it represents all those social contacts and friendship. One of the things to think about here in the Aquarius season is avoiding excessive detachment. One of the gifts of Aquarius is this ability to be lovingly detached. And for many, like say the water signs who are very ooey and gooey, that detachment almost seems like Aquarius doesn't care or is cold and non-feeling, but it's just the gift of Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign of brotherly love. And so what Aquarius understands the most is friendship, and is the connection and the activation of love through friendship. And so it seems for many who love an Aquarius, their friends can sometimes be more important. And it's not. It's just the value of the humanitarian value is the value that Aquarius will always align with. And you can't really fight against those core values that are intrinsic with your sign. So it's not that they love their friends more. It's just friendship is a high value, and it's because of their earth mission. They are about helping us see and celebrate our uniqueness about one another, the things that make us different. That's, Uranus and Aquarius celebrate the rebel and the person who really wants to march to the beat of their own drum. So this is the kind of energy we need right now with everything so polarized thanks to politics. This is the lesson that politics is bringing humanity, especially, the Western world and America, I believe, right? Because everything is so polarized. Everything is like very much, I'll drop a bomb on your head if you don't think like I do. So where do we go from here, folks? Like, what's the next step? Eventually, we're going to see that this polarization is doing nothing but causing us harm, and we'll rise. We will rise. And Aquarius is the call. Aquarius is the brotherly lover and is the call. So it's a really beautiful time, actually. But we do want to watch out, especially if you are an Aquarius and have a lot of Aquarius energy, about this excessive detachment, that gift that you have. It's so natural. You do want to be aware and stay in awareness around that, because you can slip into it and be in an excessive amount of detachment, and that certainly doesn't serve your mission either. So the other things real quick, and then we'll get into the tarot spread, is Aquarius rules the big picture, seeing the big picture. It rules freedom. Remember, I talked about the rebel, and Aquarian and Uranus is very unconventional, so it will break the chains that bind it, and for the sake of freedom. And at first, that lightning bolt is painful, but once you get through the shock of it, because that's another key word for Uranian and Aquarian energy, is you will see that you have more freedom in your life. That's the ultimate outcome that Uranus and this Aquarian energy will bring, is freedom. So I have already talked about your ankles and calves. And real quickly, I'll just show you guys the tarot cards that sort of represent Aquarius and Uranus. So in tarot, the Aquarian card is the star. And it's because this is a very spacey sign. Let me see if I can get a good picture for you on my shiny card. This is the Golden Thread Tarot, by the way, which I love. And so this is the tarot card for Aquarius. It's the star. It's very, again, healing. It's got healing energy. It's got wishes coming true energy. It is a really powerful major arcana card. One of my birth cards. Actually, is it birth or my year card? I think it's my birth card. It is my birth card. The sign represented by the ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, is the Fool. And this is really interesting because the Fool's all about new beginnings, but really risky ones. Like, because in traditional tarot, the Fool is about to jump off of a cliff and he doesn't sort of see where he's going, but he doesn't care. He's like, the universe has got my back, so I'm just going to go for it. And when you begin to understand the qualities of Aquarius and Uranus and how it's connected to the Fool card, for me, at least personally, it's really helped enrich how I'm able to interpret the tarot card of the Fool, because it's filled with this kind of shocking, sudden change energy that Uranus represents. So those are the tarot cards for Aquarius. Let's get to your reading. Move my monk out of the way. Let's keep that up here. All right. So I did shuffle ahead of time. These cards are anxious to read for you. And I did pray a blessing. I always do. I invite in different archangels. My favorites are Michael, Metatron, broken heart somewhere, Hadroniel for love, Amatiel for truth, of course Raphael for healing. I always invite them in, beginning with Michael for protection, and then I just pray a simple blessing, which I'll share with you now. I pray this all the time, wherever I go, whenever I'm driving in traffic, going to the doctor's, about to have a phone call, anything really. Chariot. And I simply pray this simple blessing, but not without first inviting protection. And here's why. Any and all beings. Most benevolent outcome for this 2020 Aquarius Collective Birthday Reading. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. So the reason I say any and all beings is because I believe everybody works for the universe, even the dark. I believe the dark is something we need to make peace with, assimilate, become friendly to. The shadow side is not something we should be afraid of. It is dark and it can be scary, but we can't avoid it. So, in essence, if you will, I believe the devil works for God. And once I invite Michael in for protection, when I say any and all beings, I want help from anything. The trees, the air, you know, I'm protected. So I'm asking basically for the support of everything, of the universe, for the most benevolent outcome. All right, so let's get going. I'm using the Golden Universal Tarot. I picked it because of the word universal, and it seemed to have the theme of Uranian Aquarian energy. I'll be pulling also a couple of oracle cards at the end of this. The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein, and one of my favorites right now is the Wild Offering Oracle by Tasha Silver. These are wonderful blessings. So, but to get started, whoops, there goes the box. Keywords for Aquarius are I know. So one of the questions that you might think about while I do the cards is, what do I need to know? Okay, this is one of the invitations from the universe for you to consider. And I've covered the transits to the moon. I'll share a sample affirmation from my tarot journal, because it is a new moon, you do want to plant the seeds and define your intentions. And if you define them with a Uranian theme, you're aligning with the natural energies that are present in the universe now. So here are a couple of my affirmations. And I'll just show you quickly. One of my favorite resources for building my affirmations each month is a book by Jan Spiller called New Moon Astrology. And this is a Bible for me, a Bible for any astrologer. It covers every sign and basically gives you all the help you need in terms of setting those intentions. So I read through the chapter for Aquarius. I pull out the intentions that really resonate with me for that particular time, and I write them down by candlelight, other rituals. So here are mine for 2020. I want to easily find myself receiving helpful messages from the positive angelic forces around me, supporting me in successfully navigating my life. And the next one is, I want to become consciously aware of the larger picture of what is happening in the area of spirituality plus consciousness. And I want to easily gain knowledge that will empower me to manifest my dream life plus earth mission. And the last one is, I want to easily find myself allowing the natural flow of life to bring me my good fortune, graciously accepting the universe's bounty. And there's the Fool card from a new deck, a new major arcana deck called the Wheel of Fortune that's coming. I can't wait to get it. It was a 2014 Burning Man installation and features all women. That's my gig. And then also we've got the Star card, and I neglected to figure out what deck that was when I found it online and was doing my journaling that night. But it was beautiful. It's the sign of the water bearer. We see the vase with the brotherly love pouring out into the universe. And this is one of the reasons why Aquarius gets so confused with water signs when it's an air sign. So, Aquarius, oh my goodness, we're 22 minutes in and just getting to these cards. Holy moly. I'm going to go ahead and cut them. Doing a spread today for you that I found on Tarot Nerds on Facebook. It's a group, and it's called The Planetary Influences of 2020. And this spread was introduced by a gentleman named Drew Clark. And I just loved it. And so I think that it's the right spread because it's your birthday reading. And in astrology, Aquarius, when it's your birthday, we do what's called a solar return. We look at the chart of your birthday. And again, that is a signature for the rest of the year. It tones like a singing bowl the energy of the rest of the year. And so I figured I would do an astrological layout that is sort of futuristic and will help you get an idea of what's coming up for you in 2020 based on and through the planets. So it's called Planetary Influences of 2020. I'm going to lay it out for you and read, and I'll grab, I'll clarify if I need to with one of my other decks here. Probably Golden Dawn, since I already have it out. Or Golden Thread, excuse me. And meanwhile, here we go. Here we go, universe. For Aquarius. Aquarius 2020 birthday spread. I'm going to cut one more time. Here we go. So the first position in the middle of the circle is called Sol Invictus. And it is the unconquered sun, the mood or the energy, basically, of 2020. And here you've got the 10 of Wands. And this is a heavy burden. This is a really, really heavy load. But the good news about this is that it's the 10. And in tarot, that is completion. That is the end, because the minor arcana go through 1 through 10, and it's a cycle, and then it repeats. Even the major arcana repeats. It goes from 0 Fool to the world, completion. And so 10s mean that this cycle is about to end or has ended. And I think that's true for a lot of people. A lot of people say 2019 was really tough. So we are on the down the other side of the mountain with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. 2019 was up to the apex. And I think that's why it was hard. So as we know, down is still hard. Down still requires your thigh muscles to control you and know where you need to step. But it's not as easy as the climb. So this is, to me, we're on that downward cycle, and these burdens are clearing, or in the process of clearing, or have cleared. So that's the general energy, Aquarius. Your next card is for the planet Mercury, who is the messenger of the gods. And Mercury basically is going to give you an idea of how communication is going to go over 2020 for you. So, Spirit, Mercury, please. The Mercury position, Aquarius, general collective birthday reading. What's... There it is. I knew it wanted to fall, but it didn't quite come. So, Mercury, we've got the King of Wands. All right. So, your communication here is going to be filled with enthusiasm and inspiration and excitement and passion. The king is the master of his realm. He has mastered everything in that particular element. In this case, it's wands, which represents fire, the element of fire, which is spirit, which is life itself. So communication this year may be very filled with excitement. There's also a sense here that because he's a master, he's mastered like head over heart and all of those kind of things as well. So, you know, lots of enthusiastic, inspirational type of energy. This is a person who leads through inspiration and leads because of the vision that they're able to communicate to other people, that it actually inspires them to act on that vision. So they're very inspirational. So that's the energy of Mercury and communication for you, Aquarius, this year, for the year 2020. Let's take a look at Venus. Who doesn't love the goddess of love and pleasure? Venus rules relationships, and those are relationships of all kind, the platonic kind that Aquarius is in charge of, right? And also the romantic, you know, love, ooey gooey, lovey dovey kind, right? So, and Spirit, Spirit has tossed out for you the Star card, which is the card for Uranus. Remember, I was just showing you this card. It is a major arcana. This is a card of wishes being fulfilled. This is also a card of deep vulnerability, like finding yourself, finding your way back to you. You can see here that she's completely nude, but she's actually very, very fine with her nakedness. There's strength in your vulnerability, actually. To me, this is what the Star card is about. And it represents healing, as I said. Here you can see she's got vases. She's got one foot on the earth, Terra, and one in the water. She's pouring that water, the water of brotherly love. She's picking it up out of the element of spirit and pouring it onto Terra, onto Gaia. So she's fulfilling her mission there of spreading brotherly love and passing on a lot of healing in the midst. So for your relationships this year, platonic and otherwise, you can expect healing. You can expect wishes to be fulfilled. I love what Ramblin' Mike says about this card. He says you have to have gone to hell and back in order for the star to appear. So if that resonates with you, check out Ramblin' Mike. Next up is the position of Earth, actually, your position on Gaia and the surrounding environment of Gaia for your year 2020 Aquarius. So here you go, Spirit. Position 4 for terra firma. What does Aquarius have to look forward to? Almost. There it is. Well, my goodness. We've got the 5 of Wands here. Check it out. A lot of wands in the air. A lot of people that look like, you know, maybe they're practicing a little, you know. This is generally a card that can represent a little bit of conflict and competition, but it's a lighter kind of competition. This is not the 5 of Swords. They are playing with wands here, not swords. So it is a lighter energy. It's competitive and it can be friendly. You just need to, you know, just decide, you know, what you want to invest your energy in, because being right for the sake of being right isn't always bountiful. You need to really decide if the effort is worth the win. And I think this is what this card to me is about and what it represents. There can be a lot of competition and rivalry in your environment this year, Aquarius. And it will be up to you to decide whether or not the battles you're going to choose. Be very, very selective about the battles that you choose, okay? That's what this card is about. Next up, Mars. Mars. Well, I like to say Mars is the kind of gas we put in our car, right? You know how some cars need unleaded and some need diesel, and if you put unleaded in a diesel, it doesn't run well. It's the kind of gas you put in your car. And some of us are born with diesel when we need unleaded. That would be like Mars and Pisces, right? Because Mars is very fiery and wants to go, and the water of Pisces is just, it dilutes that fiery energy. And so they say, I believe Mars is in its fall, I believe, in Pisces. So if you're born with Mars and Pisces, in a way, it's kind of like you're born with, you know, versus like if Mars lands in a fire sign, like in my chart, Mars is in Sag, those energies harmonize, and it makes, I'm driving with a higher kind of fuel in my car, basically. But in this reading, what does it represent? In this reading, it can represent your hardships and enemies, basically, the places where you might get into it. Aries is the ruler of Mars, and that means it's about fighting and aggression and war. So this is why hardships and enemies, this card may indicate a little bit around that. But the other thing, as I've been sort of talking about, is Mars is the ruler of divine drive. Thank you, Kathy Beal. Divine drive is what she calls it. And divine drive means basically your what motivates you, and it includes sex as well. We know Mars is a highly sexual planet. And we can look at your sex drive in an individual reading by the placement of Mars. So that's what Mars is sort of encapsulating in this 2020 reading for Aquarius. And you guys, we've got the 6 of Swords here. So again, Mars is about, you know, enemies, hardship, and that divine drive, you know, our motivation in sex. And with the 6 of Swords here, you can see he's in a boat, and he's got his back to us. He's got a passenger. He's active. He's rowing, and he's pushing off and pushing away. And I kind of look down here. You can see this water appears a little rougher than the waters they're heading into. It's a little calmer where they're heading. So this card to me indicates moving away from challenging or difficult situations. And because we've got the swords here, that is the element of air. So this is about communication as well. This rules communication in the air sign. So moving away, it sounds like you're moving away from hardship, or moving away from and moving toward calmer waters in 2020 with regard to your motivations and even the hardships, or, you know, the folks in your life that like to give you a hassle, right? That's the hardship. All right, Aquarius, moving on to the planet of Jupiter, who just moved into Capricorn, which is such a huge blessing for us all. Capricorn rules making manifest into matter. Like, they have that earth power, and Jupiter here brings lots of blessings. In this reading, it's about what Jupiter will be protecting for you, and it could be an area of your life, or where he may be bestowing gifts, expansion, benefit. This is what Jupiter does. Jupiter brings in expansion and abundance, and that includes your waistline, so be careful. Here we have the Sun, and this is said by many readers the happiest and most joyful card in the deck. And the Sun represents joy in many ways. You can see there's a little boy here. He's riding bareback on a horse. He's got both hands up. He's got sunflowers in his hands. Are they in his hands? No, he's just got his hands up. Those sunflowers are just sort of behind him on the wall. And he's just filled with joy and enjoying life. And so, to me, this is just a huge nod from the universe saying, I've got your back, and I'm going to take care of you. And Jupiter is in position to bestow upon you, Aquarius, great joy this year. Tremendous amount of joy this year. This is a wonderful placement and wonderful indication from universe and from Jupiter that they're watching and they've got you. Love it. I'm tingling all over. Chills. It's a good sign. It's a really positive sign. Next up is Saturn. And so Saturn rules time. Saturn is father time. He rules karma too. He's a badass. You know, he's got kind of a rep. You know, you've got your Saturn return when you're 29, and it's kind of like a judgment day. There's a reckoning. You got to come to terms. And I love Kathy Beale calls Saturn the planet of adulting. And that really summarizes it, because if you aren't adulting by 29, Saturn shows up on your birthday and says, get your adult shit together now, or these are the consequences. He's father. He's dad. You know, dad loves us and takes care of us, but he's got rules and there's structure. You know, if you don't do things by Saturn's structure-y, processed, responsible way, give it to you. If you are being responsible, then you have nothing to worry about. All right. Oh, and I'm going to take it. So in this reading, Saturn is talking about what has run out of time, right? That's how I see Saturn. Saturn just takes that scythe, and when we've run out of time on certain things, we are karmically removed from it. And that's pretty much what Saturn does. He rules the cycles, many cycles of times, usually on the sevens. Every 7 years, there can be a major change because of the work of Saturn in your life. But for right now, Saturn is here to sort of tell you where you might need to look for additional structure in your life, where you need to be more of an adult, And this is the Seven of Cups, which is the card of many possibilities. You can see there are 7 cups. They each have something different poking out of them. It's all so exciting. Cups represent emotion and water in tarot. And to me, what this card represents is dreaming and fantasies. And the challenge really of this card is, can you pick just one cup and focus on it and make it manifest? Because dreaming and fantasies are fantastic. But if you can't use your vision and your dreams in order to manifest and create, then what's the point of dreaming? Okay? So this is about, I know all of these cups look really great. You can just take 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 of these cups and table them for a moment. Pick one cup. Focus. That's what this card is about. It's challenging you to take what you've been fantasizing and dreaming about. Pick one of these many possibilities and make it happen. Okay? So that is where you're going to need the discipline of Saturn and the structure of Saturn in your life this year, Aquarius, is to help you make manifest the many possibilities that universe is presenting for you. Okay? Next up, is, let me get my notes. I believe we've got Uranus next. Oh, right there. Yes. Uranus. Uranus, your ruler, Aquarius. Look at those cards jumping. Uranus. Card of the Fool. Sudden shocking revelations and surprises. Innovative solutions landing in your head before you even know it. In this reading, Uranus represents basically the unexpected influences that the universe may be sending your way. All right, and the card did fly out, so I'm going to take it. Unexpected influences, and we've got the 3 of Cups here. This is a happy card. You can see the ladies here are all celebrating. Barefoot, connected with Gaia, lifting their cups in the air, cups filled with emotion. The emotion of gratitude and celebration and happiness. So this is a happy card. Your sudden and shocking and unexpected events may be around a celebration, maybe the announcement of good news coming your way. This can also represent love and relationships as well. We see 3 ladies there, so I don't know, maybe if you're the more poly type, there's happy union and love that is expansive and it doesn't have boundaries of monogamy. Okay, to me this is a polyamory card. A card. If that's not your flavor, that's fine. It can also just mean that a lot of happiness is coming for you. Something worth celebrating. All right, so I'll raise my glass with you when it happens, Aquarius. Next up, after Aquarius, comes Neptune, the planet of dreams and fantasies. Show me clearly, Spirit. All right, I will take it. And we've got the King of Pentacles. Again, kings represent mastery of whatever realm that they represent. In this case, it's coin, pentacles, which is earth and matter, and being a master manifester. All right? So this king has mastered manifestation, and he can also represent a person. The court cards, the face cards in tarot can represent actual people entering your life. In this case, it could be an earth sign that enters your life, or it could be just another person who enters your life. Don't get stuck on sex here either, or gender, okay? Think about the energy. The energy of Pentacles is earth energy. It's grounded and it's stable. It's rooted in Gaia. It's steady, and it's slower moving energy. It's the slowest moving energy there is. Because you got to slow energy down, way down, in order to make it manifest, right? So for your Neptune position in dreams, fantasies, and your ideals, maybe this is what you're working on this year. Maybe this is what you're working. The ideal of your life is to become the king of coins. Maybe there is somebody who is going to enter your life, Aquarius, who represents the qualities, who's very stable, secure. They've accumulated a lot of pentacles, a lot of wealth, and perhaps they may be here to teach you how to do it, or share it with you, okay? King of coins, King of Pentacles. And then the last card, very last card, is from Pluto, right? Pluto, the planet that was demoted and then promoted once again. Doesn't really change the energy of Pluto. He is still the badass of the zodiac, the furthest away, ruling basically death and renewal. That sounds scary, but it's really the cycle of life, Aquarius. And it's really our society, Western America, who's done a shitty-ass job on educating us and teaching us to embrace this last cycle. It's nothing to be afraid of. And when Pluto shows up, or the death card for that matter, it doesn't mean somebody's going to die. It means that there can be a death of something in your life. And death means that something also will be reborn. That's what happens. Something dies, and in that space, something new grows. And what we've got for the position of Pluto, the place that you can expect maybe death and some renewal, we have the Seven of Swords. Sorry, Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands. This card is really, you can see what's going on. He's got his staff up, and there are 6 other staffs or wands that are pointing at him. He is standing his ground, and he is protecting what is his, protecting the area that is his, protecting his ideas, protecting what he loves, protecting the things that he values and what matters to him. So, Seven of Wands. This is standing your ground, and I'm trying to check in here with Spirit to see how this translates to death and renewal in the position of Pluto. Perhaps you're standing your ground for somebody, or on behalf of somebody else or yourself, in areas that relate to death and renewal. Perhaps something is being reborn in your life, and the rest of the world around you doesn't quite understand what you see in that rebirth, and why you're choosing maybe to walk away from something, a death, so that you can have a rebirth. And you'll need to stand your ground, because there will be doubting Thomases along the way, okay? And so you're going to, whatever is being reborn, you're going to have to stand tall for it and protect it. So Seven of Swords in the position of Pluto. I am going to go ahead and pull a clarification for that, 7 Aquarius. I a tiny bit more information from Spirit about this position of Pluto. And I'm going to use the Golden Dawn, picked up the star, and added it back. Thank you, Spirit. Can you please clarify the Seven of Wands in the Pluto position for Aquarius? Thank you, Spirit. Clarify the Seven of Wands in the Pluto position. Aquarius birthday reading 2020. Thank you, Spirit. Here we go. Why is the Seven of Wands here, Spirit? Why is the Seven of Wands here, Spirit? Alright, let's see if I can get it. Ace of Pentacles for a new beginning. Yep. A new beginning. Pentacles and coins again this is making manifest. It's a brand new start. This is the first coin in the 10 coins. The 10 of Pentacles, which is all about abundance and receiving that material foundation and being wealthy in all ways, you know, materially and in all ways, but especially material. So there is a new material, you know, when I say material, I mean it's coming into manifestation on the 3D level. It is in the area of matter. So you are making manifest. You are, you know, going to pick one of these and make it manifest, right? And this shows the very beginning of that, the very first coin of making it. And you will have to stand your ground a little bit. You will have some naysayers in your world about it. But, you know, I wouldn't worry about it. You trust yourself. Trust, right? Trust the star card. It is your hopes and dreams being fulfilled. So I think that you can absolutely trust that the universe has your back here, Aquarius. So let's finish up your reading. It's been a long one. I'm going to grab a couple of cards here. I have already shuffled. These are a couple of messages from a couple of oracle decks. This one is The Universe Has Your Back. Let's see. What advice, Spirit, do you have for Aquarius for 2020, this birthday reading? What advice do you have for Aquarius on their 2020 birthday reading? Thank you, Spirit. What advice? There we go. I'm going to take this one. Ha! I just giggle sometimes because how many times have I said this? This is the card I pulled. This is not the back of the card. See? This is the name of the deck, and this is the card I pulled. The universe has got your back. Here with the star. Here with the sun. You are celebrating something, Aquarius. Universe has got your back. All right. And let's check with Tasha Silver's Wild Offering Oracle. Your blessing for 2020. Blessings for 2020 for Aquarius. Thank you, Spirit. Blessings. What are the blessings? Thank you, Spirit. This one. All right. Ooh, this is beautiful. Look what you got, Aquarius. True love. Your wholeness and safety lie within, not from a partner. But this sovereignty actually leads to the deepest intimacy for you to stop using others. Wow. Let me stand on my own feet, dear Lord, and know true love. Let me stand on my feet and know true love. All right, Aquarius. Thank you for allowing me to read for you. I hope this has been beneficial. I do appreciate your likes, shares, and subscribes. I am not desperate for them. However, I trust that Spirit will lead you to this message and those that it is meant for. And until next time, namaste.